Welcome to Warp Zone 9, Warpcast episode 11. I'm Denton. I got and
Dane.
So, how you guys been?
Pretty good. Not so great.
I see you've taken a little up top.
Yeah. Buzzed her down again.
Getting warm out and a little breeze going.
Yep.
So here we got.
Dan doesn't know what a breeze feels like.
If I feel a breeze, we're talking gale force winds. That is detrimental.
Exact opposite of spectrums here. Here.
There we go.
So, you guys been playing anything?
Some more Story of Seasons. Not as much as the previous week, but still going pretty good on that one. And then finally started doing Mario Kart again with some roommates and doing some 200cc. So
You keep playing Story of Seasons, and pretty soon I expect you to be a master farmer pretty soon here.
probably not, because I'll probably get sick of it after I get the family and everything and the house upgraded. Then there's really no point to keep going. It starts to get boring year after year.
You got your eye on the little sweetheart yet?
No, I haven't decided who I don't really care.
No, you don't care? That's like that's like half the battle for when I play those games.
Well, part of them is you have to wait until you get to certain spots to unlock some of them. So I haven't actually seen all of them yet, so I haven't decided yet. I usually try to talk to them all first before I make my decision.
Yeah, and Mario Kart, pretty insane, right?
Oh, yeah, way too fast for some of the levels.
Yeah, I've played all the DLC Cups in 200, which was insane to start out with that. It's like, because those are,
They're
more
Captain
difficult.
Falcon,
Yeah.
the F-Zero level.
Yeah,
It's
then
insane.
I maybe did like the first two, but I haven't done like any of the middle ones yet.
Yeah, Cheap Beach was one of the first ones we did, that cup, and I didn't hit anything for the first lap and a half, and it was literally to the point where I was going off jumps, and as soon as I'd land, I'd have to swerve because I'd land right in front of trees, and I'm literally just yelling too fast because I'm already like a half lap ahead of everybody else just because I didn't hit anything.
Yeah, you got to learn all new techniques with the braking and everything.
And you find out you can go through a lot of the shortcuts that you used to need a mushroom for.
Yeah.
Because you're going fast enough, you basically just go, and by the time you lose speed, you're back on the course.
Yeah. How about you?
I have not been playing anything. My loving fiancée decided to share whatever illness that she got from the convention we were at, and it's been taking a heavier toll on me. So any spare time that I have has been dedicated to attempting to sleep. I have watched her, however, play Luigi's Mansion, and watching her get severely frustrated trying to take on King Boo at the very end.
Or was this when you're trying to get some rest and she's...
I'm just at home relaxing, maybe having dinner, and all of a sudden she just screams in a fit of rage as King Boo wrecks her.
Yeah. I have not played all the way through that game yet.
No?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I figured you, of all people, would be all up on that.
Too many new games when all the games come out.
Games come out too quickly, too fast. Alright, so we can go over the latest releases on the Nintendo eShop. This week we got Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits. So that is the free download on the eShop, where you tap an Amiibo to the gamepad and you get a 3-minute segment of a classic NES or Super Nintendo game. Have you guys tried that?
I have not tried it. I haven't downloaded anything.
I downloaded it, but I have not tried it yet either. Mainly because it's like, well, I played all these games, so...
That's my thing. Like, if it's just, like, if it was new level designs or something, like, even just small ones, I'd be like, oh, cool. But, I mean, I've played pretty much all the games.
Content.
Yeah.
From Mario.
I still like the idea that maybe some younger kids who haven't played those old games can play it with their Amiibo.
Oh, yeah, and it's free. And it's not free. Well, you have to buy the Amiibo, but...
Yeah. All you need is one Amiibo, and you can keep tapping it and you get different...
Oh, wow.
So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. On the Virtual Console for Wii U, we got Paper Mario, the 64 game. Yeah, I downloaded that as well because I bought it on the Wii, so it was only $2 to upgrade it to the Wii U version.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't buy it on the Wii, but I'm getting it on the Wii U. It's on the wish list.
And then we also got the Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Bros. Edition demo. That's a free download. The full game launches on May 22nd.
And that I have to download. I plan on getting it, but I figure if I can play a little bit on the demo for fun ahead of time, why not?
So other news segments that happened this week start out with we got some new screenshots from a canceled Mega Man X spin-off game called Maverick Hunter. Maybe this would be of interest to you. This was being developed by Armature Studios, which is a smaller studio that was formed by a few people that used to work at Retro Studios, the people that made the Metroid Prime games. The series is planned to be a trilogy. They were working on it for a few months, but then it was quietly canceled after a few months of development in 2010.
Oh, that's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a first-person shooter type of deal.
I don't know.
With the Mega Man stuff, weapons and stuff could be kind of fun.
Yeah, depending on how it was all handled, I mean, Could be awesome, could have been just a colossal waste of time.
That's how a lot of people felt about Metroid when they heard it as going first person. So you never know.
I was just always confused with the control style for Metroid Prime, just because all the other shooter games that I had played at the time, and then it switched to a completely different control scheme with the lock-on.
Yeah, there's no strafing.
Yeah, no strafing.
Unless you were locked on. Then
Yeah. I go from playing all these games on PC and everything else to, hey, Metroid, this ought to be... Okay, that's a little different. And that's about all it was. I mean, once you figured out how the lock-on system worked and how you could use it to your advantage, it was smooth sailing.
Although now if you play it on the Wii, with the Wii controls,
now you got the...
strafing.
Yeah.
Everything.
But now that's just cheating.
We finally got a release date for Mighty Number 9. This is the Mega Man spiritual successor.
Yep.
It's coming out in North America on September 15th for all the major consoles: Wii U, PS4, 360, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One. It's coming out September 18th in Europe. The 3DS and other mobile versions will follow shortly thereafter. Pre-orders are now available on Amazon, GameStop, and Best Buy. The game is priced at $30 for the physical version, $20 if you plan on going digital.
See, more games should do that. Even
Yeah.
if it's not a full $10, but like $5 or
Give
something off
incentive.
digital. Yeah.
And
Do you
not?
think you might check it out if it comes up to the 3DS? Or
Yeah.
when it does?
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. Fire Emblem If, we got some information on the differences between the white and black version of the game. It's coming from an interview with project manager from Intelligent Systems, Masahiro Higuchi, and Nintendo producer Hitoshi Yamagami. White Kingdom will indeed be easier, while Black Kingdom will have a much higher difficulty with limited money and experience points for leveling up your characters. Additionally, it will have more difficult conditions for clearing its stages. Defeating the enemy general or defeating all enemies are still the basic requirements, but it will also have other conditions such as suppress enemies, break through enemy lines, and defend your base. There will also be maps with limited turns. How does that pique your interest?
It does. It piques it a lot.
I was going to say, wasn't that kind of what they were thinking when it first was announced? Because for the white one, it was going to be the standard, like you were defending from somebody else invading. But like for the black, you're going to be more the invader. So it's going to be, there's going to be some cooler like levels and stuff where instead of trying to defeat somebody, you got to try to capture something in so many turns, or
Yeah, they've stressed that the two games are different enough that they're like their own full package games. So it's not like they're like keeping stuff from you, but by making you buy both versions, they're like their own full games. Like you're getting two Fire Emblem games.
similar but different stories.
Yeah, they start the same, but then are completely different experiences.
Branch off,
Good news for Nintendo's financials. A report from the Japanese company Nikkei states that Nintendo will post an estimated operating profit of 25 billion yen for the fiscal year ending March 2015. Reasons for the possible profit growth from Nintendo is sourced as the strong performance of games such as Super Smash Bros. And Yokai Watch, which boosted the company's overall sales despite the poor performance of the Wii U. So this is just an estimate. This is not official yet, but
I would imagine it'll probably be somewhere right around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's still an insane amount.
Yeah, it's good to hear things like this because a lot of companies are, things on the internet and stuff like the poo-poo Nintendo and say like, they're going downhill.
Actually, it was funny. I was talking with some friends last week after we were done with this podcast. I was telling them about how I do this, and one of them looked at me and said, "Nintendo still exists." Like, yeah, he was in a sarcastic tone of voice, but there's just this unfortunate view of Nintendo just being like for kids, and that it's not actually still a thing when it's outselling so many things with Sony and Microsoft on the market. They're still outselling them and printing a pretty darn good profit.
Yeah, their first-party stuff just kills. Mm-hmm. So, and when you compare it to the first-party stuff on like other platforms, like Nintendo fans are always there to support Nintendo's games. So you guys are familiar with Shovel Knight at all?
Yes.
Yeah. So it came out on the Wii U and 3DS last year, exclusively on Nintendo platforms. Xbox One and PS4 owners just got the game like a week or two ago, and each version came with an exclusive level segment. PS4, you get a boss fight where you fight Kratos from the God of War series. And then the Xbox One version got a Battletoads segment where you fight the Battletoads, like each one in different levels. You got
Battletoads.
Yep. So the first part is you're going down like the Wookiee hole, is like what they call it, and then you got the turbo tunnel.
Oh my god!
And then it ends with just a boss fight where you're just like on a level field fighting on the Battletoad.
But
Battletoads, because Rare
is partnered by Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft. So Microsoft technically owns the IP.
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, that's still. What was the last Battletoads game? Like Battletoads Double Dragon back on the SNES?
Yeah, I think so. There was also an arcade get Battletoads, but I don't know when that came out. In relation to
20 years of just complete obscurity.
But people talk about it all the time. Like, it comes up in conversations. So people haven't forgotten about the Battletoads. A little known fact, Rare at one point was working on a Battletoads game for the Game Boy Advance that was canceled. But there's like a ROM prototype on the internet you can find. I remember seeing video, and I think they gave them shorts. Like they're wearing shorts in the GBA game.
Okay, why not?
So it's like they were trying to redesign them, I guess, for when they were going to bring them back. But the game looked weird. I don't know. It didn't look like it was in a good state at the time. Anyway, they were interviewed asking if they would like to add a segment to the Nintendo versions of Shovel Knight. And David D'Angelo joked about how he would like to... he likes weird stuff, and he wouldn't mind putting Tingle in Shovel Knight on Nintendo.
My roommate gets upset when I play Tingle in Hero Warriors, just because of the noise.
I was going to say, I mean, just the prospect of taking a shovel against Tingle, you know. Everybody's thought of it. I mean, you got that creepy guy just kind of hovering over top of you. Got a map.
Yeah. I never thought about that. There would probably be a lot of people that would love to take a shovel.
Yeah.
Now if they would have thrown in Navi.
Yeah.
Just hey, listen.
Hey, listen. If you could put any Nintendo character into Shovel Knight, is there any character you'd like to see?
Antagonist or protagonist?
Doesn't matter. Anybody. Your choice. A lot of people say that Link.
Link would be the obvious choice.
Like Link from Zelda 2.
Yeah.
The side-scrolling one.
Just use the original 8-bit art. Yeah. You have to. Otherwise, it would be completely...
Minecraft-style block art.
Yeah. But I think throw in like a Metroid, Samus, some form of that, just in the Shovel Knight. I'm not thinking right. The overall palette style. So, say you have a Metroid in there somewhere, and it's just a little bit different, a little more relevant to the Shovel Knight feel and area.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody you'd like to see?
Not really. I don't really play Shovel Knight.
Okay.
Duck Hunt.
I have it. I've played it a little bit. That could be kind of fun, too. The dog from Duck Hunt.
There you go.
When he snickers at you. You could
Take
beat him with a shovel.
That just sounds horrible when you say that. Little details on Nintendo released another small update to Mario Kart 8, the 4.1 update, which unlocks 200cc in mirror mode right away, so you don't have to worry about trying to unlock that.
That many people that hadn't gotten the trophies for all the... Because you didn't need it for the DLC, just the core games to unlock 200cc right away.
Mm-hmm. Like, so now they're just giving it to you.
Unless you just bought it, I don't see how... Whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
So, you guys Castlevania fans at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have favorites?
Symphony of the Night, hands down, is my all-time favorite. I mean, with a lot of people out there.
So I'd have to agree with you there.
Yeah. I want to get the Saturn version, though. Just because it was actually completed. There's a lot of areas on the both the digital one that came out for last generation consoles and the original PlayStation release. Areas were incomplete, and it was a fantastic game, but then there's all of a sudden these little glitches you could do, and it's like, well, this was supposed to be an area. This was supposed to be accessible. Why are these here? But, yeah. I like Castlevania.
So, Igarashi, like the brains behind the Castlevania, starting with like around the PlayStation era until the latest ones on DS. Obviously, there's been like a new 2D like main Castlevania game since the DS. But he left Capcom, or he left Konami last year, and he's been teasing that he's working on something that he's going to announce. We haven't actually seen anything from the game yet, but they teased something at PAX last year, where it was like this like old school like advertisement that you see in like an old video game magazine that showed like a pentagram, saying like teasing something Castlevania like.
He obviously couldn't just release a Castlevania title on his own, but something with the style, the feel,
and similar enough without names, you're fine.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like Mighty Number 9 versus Mega Man.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're going to be similar in concept, but
so we do know that eventually it will be kickstarted, just like Mighty Number 9 was.
Okay.
Just recently, 2 images were posted to 2 different Castlevania sites, and when you take the 2 images and you put them together to form one image, it formed the same pentagon we saw at the PAX peak. And one side shows a dagger and one side shows a whip on like little pedestals.
I hope that this goes somewhere. I hope that it goes somewhere good, and I hope that they don't try and just try and fit a continuity into a long-running story together. Because trying to follow the actual canon storyline of Castlevania, you may as well just throw your head into a wall.
Yeah, I can understand having like 1 or 2 games be like sequels of each other, but then you can just reboot the storyline and tell a different story with the same characters if you really like the characters that much.
You don't just try and throw in, Lament of Innocence for Castlevania. Yeah, the previous story where Sonya was the starter of the Belmont. No, it was this guy named Leon. Where did this come from? Just because I want to. Oh. We can't have anything like that. No.
There's a lot of Castlevania games. Have you played there's like ones on Game Boy, like the original Game Boy?
Yeah, the original Game Boy, Castlevania Adventure, I want to say, where you play as Sonya Belmont and you interact with Alucard and... Nope. That was about it. But that was like... She started the whole Belmont thing. Then Castlevania 3 actually took place before Castlevania 1, which then happened, and then 2, and then... Yeah. Continuities all over the place.
Hurt before we're done here.
Yeah, right. He's trying to think of like the whole, trying to piece it together, like the timeline. Yeah. It's just like the Zelda timeline. It's just like before Nintendo brought it out, it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. How the original Legend of Zelda is at the very end of one of the alternate timelines, and you think that to yourself of, wait, what? Oh wait, I suppose that would be Zelda or Link's Adventure would be the last one. Isn't it?
I don't even remember offhand. I just know Skyward Sword, then it goes in Ocarina of Time, and then it splits and
all over the place. Yeah. Like, you don't have to try and make a.
But theirs are kind of fun though too, to some extent, because it's literally just like the same hero just keeps getting reborn. So you can literally
died.
do it. Yeah, but I mean, you can literally do whatever you want and just say, "Oh, this took 100 years after this other thing happened." Okay,
sure, okay, why not?
So. Have you guys ever supported anything on Kickstarter before?
Yeah.
Yeah? You have?
Yeah.
What was it?
I just did one. Not necessarily weird. My friends and I, we do tabletop RPGs, and I've supported several Kickstarters for the Vampire the Masquerade roleplay system.
Okay. Have the ones you supported been successful?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my dear Lord, they have been
tremendously successful.
Yes.
You?
I have not.
Yeah, I haven't either. But there's been several times I've thought about it, but then I was like, well, it's already been successful. Just buy it when it comes out, I guess.
That's my kind of
Sometimes the incentives, just getting your names put in the credit, your name put in the credits, there we go, just kind of feels good that you are actually a backer and not just an anonymous, I went and bought the game, yeah, I'm supporting them. But this was, you supported the direct release. Mm-hmm. So you get early access or exclusive stuff for that.
For something like a book, that'd be cool, but for a video game, I wouldn't care if I'm in the credits, because I try to skip the credits anyway.
Well, for the book, it's right on the second or third opening page is just a list of people's names.
Then that's kind of cool.
As well as the book itself. They're hardcover, but people who backed it got leather bound with silver edging. Thing looks sweet.
So if you have this product.
Yes. Yeah. It is a 532-page full-color book that if you hold it in one hand while trying to read it for more than 10 minutes, your wrist really starts to hurt.
So speaking of Kickstarter, are you guys familiar with Project Yooka-Laylee?
No.
So this was the code name for the project being developed by a bunch of guys that used to work at Rare. They were big minds on the Banjo-Kazooie series and the Donkey Kong Country series.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
So they came out and revealed the project. The game is now called Yooka-Laylee. Kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. Yooka-Laylee.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the name of the two protagonists, Yuka, who is a chameleon, and Laylee, who is a bat. So they launched their Kickstarter the same day they revealed the game. They were asking for $270,000. That was funded within 40 minutes of the Kickstarter going live.
Everybody's like, oh, Banjo-Kazooie? Oh, it looks kind of like it. Let's do it!
So, right, as of just like an hour ago, they were at $2,065,000, and they still have 43 more days to go on the Kickstarter.
It does look sweet.
I think they're going to make it.
Yep, and they surpassed all their initial stretch goals. These stretch goals were a PC and Mac release with console releases soon to follow. Second one was a unique, epic boss battle on every level, plus awesome music boss tunes from the composers from the Banjo-Kazooie games. A pre-final quiz show challenge level. You guys ever played Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah. The quiz, we used to play the quiz show thing all the time.
At the end of the first game, you had to go through like this board game kind of thing, and you answered trivia questions about the entire game that you've played through up to that point.
Okay.
And you had to answer them correctly to get to the end, and then you get to the final boss. So that's kind of what this is going to be
so
like.
You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Which you should be anyway, playing a game with a story.
Yeah. Transformations into unexpected things. So that was another part of Banjo-Kazooie where you'd visit this shaman. He would transform into different things. The game will now also contain a mix of 2.5D plus 3D minecart sections.
3D minecart sections. That sounds horrible.
Donkey Kong 64 features some of that. So
I know, but I mean, it just sounds. Yeah, it's one of those like it's fun, but it's 2D minecarts are hard enough.
So this is awesome. A local co-op buddy mode, so you can play with a friend. A 2 to 4 local multiplayer versus mode with 4 unique games. A professional French, German, Spanish, and Italian translations. Exclusive character designs from ex-Rare guest artists Kevin Bayless and Ed Bryan. 4 more local multiplayer games added to the local multiplayer mode. And then getting to the end here, simultaneous Wii U, Xbox One, and PS4 releases day one. So all the main consoles are going to get their release the same day as the PC and Linux versions. Mm-hmm. We're also getting these are the two stretch goals they added after they saw the success of the Kickstarter. An N64 shader mode, so they can kind of make the game look like an N64 game if you want to. And to like the original Donkey Kong 64 featured this infamous rap video, which is still featured in the Smash Bros. Games, the DK rap. They're going to have a GK rap now for written by the same guy who wrote the DK rap, Grant Kirkhope. And they're also going to have a developer walkthrough and commentary video. The last stretch goal they have currently on the list is an orchestral score. If they can reach $2,270,000,
I'm sure they'll do it.
I'm going to say, if they're this close already with still over a month to go, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Also, someone at Playtonic Games, the developer, is interested in making Amiibo for the game.
Ooh. That would actually be, I think that would be a sweet look at Amiibo, looking at the character designs, like if they had like the 2-in-1.
Yeah, and so far we've only seen the two main characters. We haven't even seen any
That's
of the
what,
villains.
we haven't seen anything else, really. Just the...
So, what are you hoping that the voices are similar to Banjo-Kazooie, where it's like...
On one hand, yes. I mean, there have to be sound effects to some extent, because the whole point of them, I mean, I don't really care if it's completely, like, an actual person talking, because you read through it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can't go as fast if somebody's reading it. So, I mean, if it's regular noises,
then
yeah, you might as well go for broke and go for the classic style, like, not super annoying, but the super just...
I think the only exception I'd have is, like, something like Conquer, where it's actually kind of funny, like, in that kind of way. But,
yeah.
But either way, I'm cool with it. So, Nintendo came out today, as of this recording, and apologized about the Amiibo shortages. Nintendo of America did. This was their statement. Said, "We appreciate the enthusiasm that our fans continue to show toward Amiibo. Sales for the product have exceeded our expectations. We understand how frustrating it can be at times if consumers are unable to find certain figures, and we apologize for that. We're trying to meet the demands of our fans and consumers by increasing the amount of Amiibo we manufacture and ship to retail. We may continue to see consumer demand outpace supply levels for certain characters at times, but we will do our best to prevent that from happening. As our library of Amiibo continues to grow, some figures will be easier to find than others. We are constantly looking for the opportunity to reissue Amiibo and are already making plans to bring back some currently out-of-stock Amiibo figures. Stay tuned for details. Nintendo plans to make it easier for consumers to know when new Amiibo are on the way through Nintendo press announcements, timely updates on our social media channels, and working closely with the retailers. We remain committed to keeping Amiibo affordable and easy to access as a platform to enhance gameplay experiences. These plans include Animal Crossing Amiibo cards that will become available by the end of 2015 and a free-to-download app for Wii U called Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits, that launched on April 30th. That lets consumers enjoy playable scenes from certain NES and Super NES games with Amiibo. So does that sound promising?
That does.
Or do you think it's just
No, I think it sounds promising. Now, here's a question. Do you think that with, like, the reprinting that they're going to do, like, the first wave, second wave, stuff like that eventually, do you think there'll be some distinction between the first edition and the reprints or the reissues?
That's funny that you mentioned that. So, Nintendo just made some more villagers in Japan.
Okay.
They're out on the market, people have them, and there's differences from the original version. Same pose and everything, except just slight alterations. He's got
different hat or
no same exactly same art or whatever, but he's got more forehead. They just changed his head basically. He's got more forehead, his eyes are closer together, and his hair looks darker.
So you're going to have people taking the first edition ones that are...
Which, I mean, I'm kind of okay with, because, I mean, if you spent the money, you got the first edition collector ones. I mean, because some people just want them for, like, because they want to have, like, the first collector, where I just would like to have, like, the characters I like. I want a little figurine of them because they're cool looking.
So, I don't know if this was just they felt it wasn't close enough to the in-game version of Villager, or if they wanted to make a differentiator from the first printing.
The other thing that I wish they would do, since they're so worried about, like, supply and demand, is I don't see why they couldn't just do, like, pre-order which ones you want, like on Nintendo of America Online or something,
just
and then
cut out the
every once in a while. Well, I mean, even if you partner with like stores or something,
I'm guessing that Nintendo,
and then you can just print that many of that you have, and then in 3 months from now, if there's been however many more new orders, you can print that.
Yeah. I'm just guessing that Nintendo America doesn't have the distribution channel to support it just themselves, where they're just shipping it out to consumers directly, like the manpower and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's part of it. About a week ago, shortly after our last recording, Nintendo of Europe gave another promising statement about Amiibo. It says, "We're sorry for how everything went. Unfortunately, you are not..." This is in reply to an email that they... like a PR response to an email.
Okay.
It says, "Unfortunately, you're not alone in this problem. Nintendo has underestimated the worldwide demand for Amiibo and therefore delivered not enough Amiibo. Our apologies. But we have good news for you. The Amiibo are all back on the market in the summer of 2015 in larger numbers than before. Once again, our apologies." So that was in response to someone who was feverish about not being able to find any Amiibo on the market. So I'm hopeful. It's kind of like how when the Wii came out, it was impossible to find for the longest time, but eventually Nintendo did get supply out there, and we've seen that with the GameCube adapter just recently, where it's impossible to find since Smash Bros. Came out, but now you can just go and buy it.
And I think part of that is, I mean, the Wii is one of those, I don't think they realized how well it was going to sell. Yeah. And then with the Wii U not selling that well, I think they were assuming the GameCube adapter, and then the Amiibos, I think for Amiibos, they figured people would get like one or two, whoever their favorite characters were, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't realize, I mean, for how cheap they are, you can pick up quite a few if you, have the money.
And, we still have the whole dock strikes or whatever going on. Apparently that's ending, like, in a few days here, like 2 days.
Finally.
Yeah. Like, it's officially, like, over. And we're going to... Hopefully that'll help alleviate supply issues and we'll just be able to walk out.
Yeah, within the next couple months.
I was going to say,
I can't imagine how much backlog they have.
It's going to be at least 6 months before that stuff starts really working out, unless they've got stupid amounts of people working overtime and stuff like that to get everything off those freight liners and on the road, because that's a lot of stuff that's just sitting out there. So
I have been going out and picking up some of the first wave Amiibo back in the packages I can buy, and I've been checking GameStop to see their inventory recently online, and they got Samus back in stock. So I went there today and picked her up, and she had dust on her. Like, she was freshly stocked. They just stocked her in the store, but she had dust on her. So she was obviously sitting around somewhere. So
I'm sure sitting on a truck somewhere on a ship.
Yeah. Wow.
Some statistics on Amiibo sales coming from Fortune.com. In just 2 months, Nintendo managed to sell over 5.7 million Amiibo worldwide. Over 3.5 million sold in the U.S. alone. Just over 9.2 million Wii U systems sold globally since its debut in 2012 through January 2015. Wii U hardware sales increased by 10% last November, 29% increase for 2014 as a whole, and saw a 20% increase through the first quarter of 2015.
So really in 2012?
Yeah.
It's been that long already.
Because it wasn't for the first however long, there was not a ton of games that people wanted, so it wasn't like it was on the forefront.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of just slipped in there for a lot of people. Like all of a sudden they'd go to the store and, there's a Wii U now.
Well,
what is that? Is it? It looks like it's a tablet for the Wii.
Yeah.
No,
people
it's not.
didn't understand. I was there for the launch.
Yeah.
But
they just didn't advertise
Were you
it.
there for the midnight launch?
Yeah, I was working.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because we had a line of like 30 people or so, and some people had lined up around our value bin for our movies, and they started organizing it for me. They were that bored.
There's that many people there to get the Wii U?
Yeah. There was like 30 people that night.
Did you have that many systems?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
We had quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then the second wave we got in didn't sell for the longest time.
the weekend that the Wii U came out, I was at a convention in the Dells. So I went to the Wisconsin Dells. So I went to the local Walmart there, and I was the only one there that bought it.
Wow.
At that Walmart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe we just had a more dedicated fan base here.
Yeah, or everybody was too busy at the con, I guess.
That's
that could
probably
be it.
more likely. As people were like,
Yeah.
I'll get it later.
Yeah.
Or they already had theirs pre-ordered.
Yeah. I did have mine pre-ordered at a GameStop, like, a ways away from the con, but I was like, I'll just pick it up here and then cancel when next time I go to that store. More Amiibo information. We found out that Fire Emblem If for the 3DS will support Amiibo. So get your Ikes, get your Mars, get your Roys.
Damn it.
And
I
Roy's
don't
not
think I
out
have
yet.
any of those right now.
Is the new Fire Emblem, is that for 3DS or the new 3DS?
3DS.
Okay.
So anybody can play it, even you. But
even me!
But if you want to play the Amiibo, you do have to buy the adapter.
Yeah, so I'm gonna...
Or a new.
at that point, I may as well just pick up a new 3DS.
So you play Monster Hunter.
So I can play Monster Hunter.
The North American release for this is probably a ways away. I'm sure their
would imagine,
localization is
yeah.
probably not too far in the development. We also found out that the Japanese content rating, they got a 0C, which means 15 ages or older recommended.
Ooh.
So this is the highest rated age for Fire Emblem yet in Japan.
I can kind of understand, though, too, I guess, if you're going to be one of the people that's going to be, like, if you invade,
Oh, yeah.
like...
Well, maybe they're...
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's going to be some darker storylines, like...
Well, yeah, they started kind of touching on a little bit darker of a storyline in Awakening, just with the, what happens in the future,
Well, yeah.
Spoiler alert, bad things happen. But it doesn't really get too deep into it, but maybe it's one of those settings where there is a lot of big and bad going on.
Yeah, I'm interested in the story. It sounds really interesting.
They didn't even kill off anybody. like the big name people that were in Awakening, they didn't actually die. You find them later on; they're fine.
Well, unless they're in your party.
Well, unless
Playing
they're...
on classic mode.
Yeah.
In which case, lots of people die.
Yeah,
Everybody but you and Marth can die.
some two little tidbits. Hyrule Warriors has sold over 1 million copies worldwide.
Ooh.
So good news for Hyrule Warriors. Do you think we'll see a sequel to that?
I kind of hope so.
I think
it's
so.
fun, but especially with the DLC. I like playing as Giant Ganon and going around smashing everything.
I thought you were going to say Tingle again.
No, I do like playing as Tingle. Tingle's more fun if you're playing 2-player, though, just because his little grunts are really annoying. And then you run circles around your person as you have confetti coming out of your butt.
Also, some people were snooping around some LinkedIn profiles for people that work at Next Level Games. This is the studio that's brought us Luigi's Dark Moon and lots of other great Nintendo games. One profile shows that they have somebody working on an online component for an unannounced title, and another person working on story elements.
Ooh.
So, who knows what story? Hopefully, the story means that there's going to be something significant. But
Mario World MMO. Right. Wait.
What, where you all get started like a Goomba and you rank yourselves up? You're one of Bowser's Legion?
Yes!
So, Next Level Games has worked on a lot of... They worked on a lot of Mario titles like the Mario Strikers and Luigi's Dark Moon, and they worked on Punch-Out. So, which none of them are all very, very deep games in terms of like story and stuff. They're all pretty lighthearted, especially like Strikers and Punch-Out.
Punch-Out, you could combine the Punch-Out style with a more RPG style, and make it so you're more like you have to train your guy up. That could be your story. I just like boxing games in general, and Punch-Out has always been fun.
Punch-Out, like RPG brawler type thing.
Yeah, well, even if it was just like standard, like the fighting was still kind of the same, but you could like up your stats like in between fights by doing various stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what they're working on. Hopefully, we find out at E3 next month.
I would think.
Yeah, it is.
I would think they would do some kind of, even if it's like some kind of teaser, like, oh hey, we're working on something. Oh yeah, we already know because of the leak.
Yeah. Well, guess we got to cancel that project. Shame. It was going to be a good one.
Yeah, people are always snooping around people's LinkedIn profiles, and some people have had to remove or change stuff after this when found out. Like Nathan was like, "Oh, you should probably not have that on there."
Yeah, it's
But part of that, I mean, part of that is people want stuff. Same with people that like data mine like targets and that kind of stuff to see when stuff gets put onto their website. Like, it's like, really? But
yeah, absolutely. People don't want to wait for Nintendo to give the word they want to know now.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got in the news. Anything you guys want to add?
No.
One of these days, you guys are going to have something to add.
one of these days I'll have a relevant topic.
Problem is, all my info basically comes from like Reddit and stuff. So most of it's stuff from either a couple weeks ago or stuff that we touch on anyway.
Yeah, if you want to talk about something that's a month old, I'm cool with that.
Well, it's stuff we've already talked about a month ago.
Yeah, I hear you.
Go watch old episodes.
Please do that.
There was a new glitch found in the original Mario world a few weeks back. It only took him 30 years to... Yeah, almost 30 years to find.
Do you know the details?
What it involves is... need to be playing 2-player mode. You go through the first world as Mario. As soon as you get into World 1, 2, you just die. Luigi then takes off. You go all the way to World 4, 2. You get roughly a third to halfway through the level.
What game are we talking about?
The original Mario Mario Brothers.
Okay,
Yeah.
you said World, and I was like...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not in the right mindset. But all the way to World 4, 2. Get about halfway through... You have to hit one of the hidden bean sprout blocks, and then die. And then when Mario starts, as he drops down from the top of the level, the bean sprout comes up through the floor. And then as the two turtles, or whatever they are, walk underneath you, you can get unlimited free lives. 30 years, and that was just recently found.
Seems like a lot of work to get some infinite lives.
Maybe it was some people just playing
people that are
through.
still, I was going to say, there's people that are still playing these games trying to find all the glitches.
Well, maybe they weren't even trying to find it. Maybe they were just playing through, and then, dude hit the button at the wrong spot, ran right into an enemy, and died, and then all of a sudden Luigi's like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Something new.
That's something interesting about the original Super Mario Brothers is the one player can keep going forever until they either die or they beat the game.
Yeah,
it's like player 2 can never get a chance if player 1's really good.
That was actually a thing with a lot of games in that style back in the day. Like, I grew up playing, Gradius 3 I had on Super Nintendo, and the 2-player mode was you just took turns. So player 1 goes through all the levels, and then as soon as they die, then you pick up at level 1 or wherever the last person had been knocked out. So it's...
Yeah, now they make it a point to alternate turns, at least Nintendo does.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of local co-op on most games these days, but...
No, you don't. It's all online.
Yeah.
It's all got to be online.
Nintendo did fix that in the All-Stars version of the remake of Super Mario Bros. Where
it
alternates.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And then there was, I don't know how long ago this was, but people were making a computer program to play video games. Like, attempting to make, like, an AI style. And, so it played Tetris, and it kept getting so far, and every time it would lose, it would learn from what it did. And eventually it got to the point where it would just pause the game and leave it pause, because it found out the only way to win was to not play.
Yeah.
The only way not to lose was to pause and never let it continue again.
You circumvent losing by just not playing.
Yep. And I just thought that was really funny, and it would be interesting to see as programming gets bigger, some of the more newer games that they can have them do.
Think of, there was a movie years ago called War Games, I think?
Yeah.
With Matthew Broderick?
Yeah. Yeah, where the only way to win is to not play thermonuclear warfare.
Yeah. I just think it'd be fun for like some more like shooter games to have like a computer playing that and like the actual story mode and see how far it goes until it's just like
it's like no,
keeps
I can't
learning.
do this.
Yeah.
Or it learns everything and can get through the hard.
Yeah. In which case that'd be kind of cool to watch though too. I mean,
well, yeah.
At the end, you'd have a computer literally like shooting like before the enemies even come around corners and stuff.
Yeah, it just memorizes where everything is. But then it's cheating.
Well, it'd be more just entertaining to see how long it takes the computer to learn how to do that too. Because it was one of those, it only learned, like added to the programming when it lost. It would try to figure out why it lost.
You guys are geeks.
Not going to disagree there.
All right, that was Warpcast episode 11. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd much appreciate it. For Warpcast episode 11, I'm Dutton. I got
Anthony,
at
son of Gunder 88.
Dan at D. Shimmick.
And you can find me on Twitter at Nestor64. Thanks for watching, guys.
That's it.